Welcome to Sandals Grenada. We're in the Lovers Lagoon in what I think is a very lovely room. So I'm going to give you a little tour. So follow me in. So you've been stood in the bathroom. Over here we have the entrance door, which backs onto the airport. Insert video here. Little issue maybe with the noise, but we'll talk about that later on. Nothing to worry about. So we'll get into these in a little bit. Just follow me through. So you've got a lovely big bedroom area with the big vaulted ceiling, which is really quite nice, and the big fan on the top. Obviously change the speed of that if you want, get some air circulating. But I think the first thing that sort of stood out to me when we walked in was just a sort of general sense of space. Obviously really light, because you've got the big windows letting all the light through from the lovely lagoon that we'll have a look at in a minute. But yeah, just a sense of, you know, the high ceilings, just the air. You've got quite a nice sort of amount of space walkway wise. I'm not the smallest of people, but it's just quite a nice large area. We'll have a look at it in more detail in a minute, but I think the first thing that I always want to do when I watch a room tour is I want to see the bathroom. It's a bathroom. I want to see the balcony straight away. I want to see the interesting bit because that's where the sun is. And obviously this being Sandals, you have got a slightly nicer than average bathroom. So when I open this, we're going to notice the sound of the like water features outside. Don't know if you can hear that or not. So on the balcony, we've got one sunbed, which is cute, but I guess you're gonna have to sort of fight for it, you know, whether your partner wants it or not. You've got a nice cutie little seating thing here, which quite neatly folds the seats under the table. We have a drying rack over here for if you've done any sort of washing and you want to freshen your clothes up. So you can hang your clothes there. And then obviously we have the gigantic tub, which I'm gonna not fall over getting into, but to give you an idea, it's quite big, and you've got your drinks surface as well. You can get two reasonably sized adults in here. If you're not reasonably sized, maybe diet a little bit, but otherwise a lovely sized tub. Obviously we've got these privacy curtains as well, so we can draw those across. Now before we head back in, I want to point out the view. So we've got the lagoon here with the little bridge. So the beach is that way over there. We're the sort of back end of the resort, and behind us obviously is the airport with the runway about 400 yards behind the room. Not an issue. Lovely sort of water features you can hear quite loudly. We've got the gym, so the little fitness center over there. Best part of the resort so far for me is the giant iguanas. So in those trees over there, we've got the iguanas just chilling and having a lovely time. Let's head back inside. It's very warm. We'll shut the door and make sure the air conditioning stays on. So, start in the bathroom. So the one thing I've noticed, so this is our second day here now. They clean it to a really good standard. Obviously all the staff are sort of 10 out of 10 lovely, very friendly, but every time room service comes, you walk in and you can just tell that it's been cleaned, which is a very nice feeling. So apologies for any of our stuff you can see hanging around. We tried to tidy up a little bit for you. Got the gigantic mirror here with the fancy little mirror on the side as well. You get all of this Red Lane age-defying probiotic lotion, shower cap, soap, vanity set and stuff and bits there, which is all really nice. The tap is a bit funky. Have a look at this. It kind of tilt it away and twist it like that. Bit weird. Let's have a look at the shower. Very big shower. Not a massive head to the actual shower itself. one thing I do like about the room is up here you have got like a skylight, so it's quite nice to just sort of let some natural light in. Cool little feature. Obviously you do not get these on the rooms underneath us, just on these rooms up here. Shower's been fine so far. We've got more of the Red Lane stuff here. You can put on a show for your significant other, which is, I'm sure, a feature that people like to do. And if you're lazy or particularly adventurous, you have a seat in the shower as well. Make of that what you want. And then the WC facilities are behind a sliding door, which is fine. Nothing too interesting in here really. Got a little window that you can sort of wind to shut or open. Not that interesting. It's a toilet. So here we go into what Americans would call a closet, what I would just call a cupboard. It's not that interesting. We've got some hangers, got some blankets in case you're crazy and you're cold. We have a laundry bag. Won't be using that. We actually have a suitcase trolley thing that we haven't used. You get your safe, all kind of standard stuff, but I know people want to see it. So actually, before we go the other side, these are quite cool. Instead of hanging something outside your door, you just press a button. So do not disturb or housekeeping. Continuing on, we got the ironing board. That's pretty much it for there. Here we've got the sort of coffee machine mini bar area facilities. Pretty sure this is all complimentary. So what we got here is some Shiraz, very nice, not for me. We have some coffee making equipment and this Blue Mountain blend of coffee, which is absolutely stunning. So that's very nice. Not putting that back as it should have been. And then in the old minibar, actually we got like this icy type thingy for icing. Haven't used that, as you can tell. This is all sort of complimentary. So what have we got here? Sauvignon Blanc, you've got water. You get some lovely Carib lager. So you get two different types of fruit drinks. You got like orange juice and like a tropical juice. You get Diet Coke and you get your full sugar Coke as well. And that's one thing that's being not annoying at all. Annoying is the wrong word. Just a bit funny. Ready? Sounds like a dog whining. Here we've got a nice mirror for getting ready. So you can put your bits and your accoutrements on here and then make sure you're looking pretty. I don't need to use this because I always look wonderful, but if you need to, good mirror right by there. So one thing that I think is quite cool is I mentioned earlier about your partner having a sneak peek into the shower. If your partner is fed up of looking at you in the shower, they can just draw this across. However, if you want to have a sneak peek of your partner in the shower, you can open it. So you can't control it from the inside. So I guess if you're coming to a Sandals resort, you're probably used to being familiar with each other, but just a heads up, it's from here. Right, I'm not gonna do a full sort of tour of every single drawer, cupboard and bit in the room, but you've got a very sort of thin top drawer, a medium-sized second drawer, and a big, deep one on the bottom, which was honestly more than enough. In terms of plugs and sockets and stuff like that, we have this one. If we bring it in a little bit, I'm not sure what that is, but it looks like a surprised face. And then we have the standard UK 3-point socket as well. And USB sockets all around the room. So we've got a couple here, dotted around the room. I'll show you a couple more of those. I have a standard phone, haven't used that. Kind of funky lampshades on either side of the bed are quite nice. Still haven't figured how to turn those on and off. My wife probably has. Behind the bed, we have some birds doing bird things with some light. which is quite a nice little feature. One thing I've noticed is that the cushions here are incredibly soft. Look at that. So if you're a fan of soft cushions, this is the place. Let me remind myself of how the bed is. Sorry. Actually, yeah, it's a good bed. It's a very good bed, and as you can see, I'm 6'2" and fit in it pretty comfortably. I mean, very comfortably. It must be like a king size or bigger than a king size, because, you know, my wife can be over there, I can be over here, and you don't even have to be aware that you're in the same bed. Obviously, each to their own, but huge bed, fantastic, very comfortable. So, behind the camera, we have what I think is probably like a 46, 48 inch television. It has some sort of stuff on it that shows you, you know, around the resort, so maps, generic information. You can't book or do anything from the television, I don't believe, but it's good to have. I haven't really been watching the television, to be honest, because not that many channels and we're in the Caribbean. It's got some more storage space in here, which is nice. And something unusual I found earlier, which if we can zoom in, I can't figure this out for the life of me. Got a HDMI socket, got some USB sockets here, haven't seen if those plugged in yet. Audio input and Bluetooth connectivity. I don't know if this is plugged into anything, I don't know if it works, but interesting, spotted that earlier. If we go back over here, getting our steps in, this doesn't work. So I think this is like the original sort of conditioning for the room, for the climate. This is your fan. So if we look upwards now, I've got a big fan above the bed and I've set that to number 3. So that's blasting air around the room. It's a little bit too much, so I'm gonna put it down to number 1. If you wanna control the temperature of the room, we have this handy remote. Not sure if you can see it. It's not that interesting, it's an air conditioning remote. Temperature, modes, jet modes, fan speeds, loads of stuff. Don't really look into it, just set your temperature and chill out because we're on holiday. So, as I said, we've been here for, I think, 1 full day. So this is our 2nd proper day. We've just had breakfast. I'll obviously go into detail on everything at a later date and give you sort of a run through on, you know, feedback on the resort as a whole. But so far, it's been a 10 out of 10 experience. I mentioned at the start about the rooms backing onto the airport. The positives is it means that the transfer time to get from the airport to the resort is probably about 2 to 3 minutes, if that. The negative is that I think we've only really noticed 1 flight a day, maybe 2 flights a day. But the first one did fly over us about half an hour of getting into the room. And we were like, geez, it was like the equivalent of like a big lorry driving past at 20 miles an hour. So it didn't feel like an airplane was gonna hit the room, but you just went, ooh, there's some noise there. Hasn't affected us, won't affect you, do not let it put you off. It's 100% worth it just to have that 2-minute transfer time from the airport. So I think we spent enough time giving you a tour of the room. I want to go outside, have a cocktail, enjoy the sun. So I'll see you in the next clip. Thank you for watching. So what I'm going to do is give you a bit of a walking tour of Sandals, the resort, little bits and bobs. And whilst I'm doing that, I think I'll give you some little tidbits of information from our stay there. So as I said, that's the airport right at the back of the Lovers Lagoon. There's probably like 4 or 5 flights a day, probably more, but you don't really notice them. There's no night flights. I think the latest one's like 7 p.m. That's the one that we heard on our first day and threw me off a little bit, but it's not an issue at all. So you walk sort of down these steps to get to the centerpiece of the lagoon. So as you can see here, we've got the 2 stories. You've got the rooms on the top, which when you're booking them, they'll say, you know, with balcony. And the rooms on the bottom, I believe they're referred to as walkout rooms. Now, the rooms on the bottom, they don't have a front door in the same way that our room had a front door. They have this door. So the entrance that you see for the bottom rooms is the entrance to the room. So I think people have sort of said that they can be quite dark. But if they're anything like the rooms upstairs, I mean, they're still incredible. We went, as I said, in January, and the weather was perfect. We had 7 days. I mean, it drizzled 2 or 3 times. Not long enough for you to go inside or get out of the pool, so no issues there. This was inside Le Jardinier. We ate there every single morning. One time I had this weird breakfast, but we actually had this French toast with rum syrup every day, which was spot on. That was like a cheese, ham, bacon type waffle thing, which was really nice. Not my usual. Now, a quick look at the iguanas. So I think we spotted 6 or 7 iguanas, all at the same time, so we knew we weren't looking at the same guys twice. They have their little spots, and we spent a bit of time, you know, sat down. I was looking at iguana behavior, and you see them, you know, bobbing their heads, asserting dominance and stuff. So, I mean, we're animal lovers, so we loved sitting with the iguanas and just chilling on the little bench by there with a drink. When you sort of walk past the iguanas and continue walking down into the resort, the first thing you get to is the sort of loud pool. So there's the waterfall rooms we've just gone past, and a couple of the rondeval rooms, but we're looking at the sort of the loud pool. It definitely is the loud pool, and the quiet pool at the front is definitely the quiet pool. It wasn't obnoxiously loud, it was just much more of a party kind of vibe. On the left is the place that, I can't remember what it's called, but you get your pizzas there. We didn't have one pizza, they make them fresh in the oven and they're delicious. On the right, you've got the Summit Bar, brilliant cocktails. We'll talk about that a bit more in a minute. And on the left, you've got the Italian restaurant, which we enjoyed. We went there once. There's the Japanese place that we didn't go to because probably a little bit too social for us. We're coming across as really antisocial here. And then on the end on the left is Butcher's. So that's the steakhouse. Now, I think all 3 of those restaurants, certainly Butcher's and the Japanese one, they require you to book beforehand. When it comes to booking restaurants, make sure to get that done as soon as you arrive. Unless you've got a butler room, where I think they pre-book things for you. If you haven't got a butler, go and get them booked in, because I think we had to wait like 4 days until there was a vacancy at the restaurant. So that's that sort of top end. You've got your Lover's Lagoon, a couple of the waterfall rooms, the sort of party pool, the restaurants, so 3 of the restaurants, and then you've got this midsection. So this is the roundabout where you will get dropped off in your little 3-minute taxi ride. So it'll drop you off by, what am I looking at here? Some of the pretty flowers and some of the rooms up there. But it'll drop you off right by here, and then you'll sort of go in and you'll do the check-in process. I think we arrived a little bit late, and we were left sitting for like 45 minutes before anyone spoke to us. They didn't take my credit card on file, so I think they made a little mistake there. I'll reference a couple of the little mistakes later in the video, but we're not people to complain. It was harmless, and we're in the Caribbean, so we're having a good time. This little section here was very interesting because you've got the little water features. And at night time, these water features have you see the fire pits there, so you've got fires that come up, and as you walk past the fire, you can feel the heat. It's really nice, very pretty. Up ahead there was the living room or the lounge, where you get like most of your sort of drinks throughout the day. Tipsy Turtle, we did not go in there because not our kind of vibe, but I know a lot of people that will be your kind of place to go, so fantastic. So we walk in sort of on the right-hand side of the living lounge area, I forget the name of it. There's public toilets, well, resort toilets on the right-hand side there, those 2 doors, so men's and women's. To the left would be the beach and the quiet pool, but what we're going to do here is we're going to go for a little walk, because I saw somebody on YouTube went up a tower and they got some pretty cool views, so I thought, let's go for a walk, let's find the tower, and let's get some sort of panoramic shots of the entire resort. That place on the right is a jewellery shop, Colombian Emeralds, I think. Emerald. We didn't go in there, but you know, I'm sure they've got some lovely jewellery in there. I think there was a member of staff going past laughing and joking. I think that's the one thing I really like about the resort, was all the staff are laughing, joking, they're happy. I think it's just a Caribbean thing. I mean, if I was living there, I'd probably be quite happy as well. Don't know necessarily what the details of these rooms or these blocks are. Haven't sort of done any background research on those, haven't been in them. But they've got a really lovely view, obviously overlooking the water and the beach. So quite a lot of steps to go up here. So I fast forwarded this bit until we get right to the top. And here we are. So here's your Sandals Grenada. Everything you can see, apart from the houses on the top of the hill, is part of the resort. I think the house on the top of that hill belongs to the person who originally owned the land. So not sure what the story is there. I think the gentleman on the boat tour that we go on later in the video is telling us a little bit about that. So if you look ahead there, you can see Grenada. Obviously the resort is at the south of the island. So that's the pier. So we would, show you a little bit more of that later, but we would spend a lot of our time sat on the end of that pier on the little seats with a drink, just enjoying the view. So you've got the beach there. That's the quiet pool. So that's where we did dip in occasionally, down there. And it was all just lovely, a much quieter atmosphere to the sort of busy pool, which is up here. And so, yeah, that area there, we've got the sort of the louder pool, Lovers Lagoon, Butcher's Restaurant, that area we walked through earlier. We're down by the pier now. So this is our happy spot. Just sat there just looking at the crabs and the little mollusky type things, and look at the little fish doing their little fishy things. I mean, look at that. I just had the most incredible time. I mean, I think some people have like complained that the sand wasn't white enough or the water wasn't blue enough, but I mean, from my experience, it was absolutely brilliant. The great thing about the sort of the way the beaches are set up is that there's no waves. I mean, there are waves, but it's nothing terrible. It's really ideal for snorkeling. So we did do a little bit of snorkeling and saw some lovely fish. So we're at Neptunes having lunch. We had lunch at Neptunes every day, just because you've got this view. So you can chill out in the morning and then sit here and have your lunch. So I've gone for a gazpacho soup, which was excellent, and some sort of Jamaican jerk chicken, which is lovely. And I've got a dirty banana and a beer, and my wife has a strawberry daiquiri. We went on this boat trip as well. And these boat trips, how can I phrase this? They're free. We looked at excursions, and none of the excursions, although there were plenty, there's probably 20, 30 different excursions, they were all quite sort of cultural and all quite high activity, so we didn't fancy any of them. But we thought, you know what, the boat tour was included, so we'll give it a go. It was brilliant. To book the boat tour, similar to the restaurants, there's like a bit of a 3 or 4 day wait. So you've got to go to the water centre, which is on the far end of the beach, and go and ask the guys there to sign you up. I think the boat tour was about 45 minutes, and they take you down the coast. And I think our driver was Ken, and our first mate was Ed, I believe, Ken and Ed. And the first mate obviously was giving you like the tour and telling you all the details. So you go past all the different places as you go around the coast, and they give you some really good information. It was really funny. Probably about 10 to 15 people on the boat trip. Didn't feel overcrowded. It was really nice experience. I think it left at like 2:45 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, look at the weather, not a cloud in the sky, and it was pretty much like that for the entire week, really. So yeah, just a clip here of us returning to the resort. So the bit of buildings. The buildings you can see on the right hand side, that's Sandals. So this is us coming back, and the first mate was quizzing everyone on the sort of broken English talk and seeing how well everyone could speak in the traditional lingo. So that was quite funny. But after about 2 or 3, 4 days, I went and asked if we could upgrade our room. So we'll see a little bit of that in a minute. But before we see that, we had an experience at Butcher's, and unfortunately they were a little bit slow getting the food out, but they came out afterwards. They chased us down and they gave us another booking at Butcher's where they spoiled us and gave my wife a special birthday treat and a birthday song. So that was really nice. Welcome to our lovely room at Sandals Grenada. So what I'm going to do first is give you like a third-person tour around the room with our lovely camera woman, and then I'm going to do more of a deep delve into each room and break it all down for you. So I believe this is the M1P or MP1, the correct one's in the description, at Sandals Grenada, and we've just upgraded for the end of our stay. So you walk in through the main door and you're in this lovely sort of living area. They were very kind to give us a bottle of champagne, some goodies and some flowers. We've got the sort of bar here. So we've got, what we've got here, we've got Scotch whiskey, we've got Jamaican rum, vodka, gin, red wine, Shiraz, and we've got a fridge stocked with all the goodies there. So we can have as much as we want of any of this, so help yourself, that's lovely. And an ice bucket, which is replenished every day. So that's sort of the gist of the main room here. And then over here, we have our outdoor living area, which is very beautiful. So we've got, an outdoor sort of space with the sun lounges and the parasol. And we've got a pool over there, which it says it's 3 foot 6 inches deep. Might be a little bit deeper than that, I'm not sure. And then we also have a hot tub. I'll be giving a little bit more of a detailed tour of that in just a minute. Great thing about that is we're sort of in an elevated position. So we're looking down on the busy pool here, but it's not too noisy. It's not too in your face. It's quite quiet and sort of chilled here. We got these big sliding doors separating the living room from the bedroom. Now this is where I think you're kind of wowed. First of all, they've decorated the bed for us with I love you. Very sweet, nice touch. Just a very nice room. We've got the sort of vaulted ceilings that we had in the living room as well, with another fan here. So we've got a fan in this room, we've got a fan in that room, keep the air circulated. We've got an air conditioning unit, once again controlled by remote in this room, and another one in the living room. Got another television here. So we've got television in the bedroom, and we have another television in the living room. Now this is my favorite part, apart from the outside of the room. So before you sort of get into the bathroom, at the end or the back of the bed, you've got a his and hers. So we've got one cupboard or closet there, and another one here with your safe, your robes, your ironing board, stuff like that, all the goodies in there. And then your sort of getting ready area here, which is really nicely lit up. You've got plenty of power points, got a hairdryer and a little buffet stool down there. But then look at this. A massive bathtub. There are rocks on the floor, which I would advise you not standing on because it hurts quite a lot. But I'm 6'2", and I reckon you could get 2 of me in here, which would be unusual, but it is what it is. Lovely big bathtub, very spacious, centered nicely in the middle of the room. Oh. Over here, we have a shower. I presume one of these here does a normal shower head, that one, and one of these does the rainfall, waterfall type thingy there. So a brief interruption there. One of the perks of having your own pool and your own hot tub, there was two lovely service gentlemen who came to sort of check the water and all that good stuff, but they're only here for a minute. So let's carry on. You've got like a big old sink here, which, well, how the hell does this work? Hold on. Okay, it's like a joystick. So you've got a joystick sink here with a little vanity mirror there. Ooh, and another mirror here and another mirror there. And if you want another mirror, there's another mirror over here and another one there and another one there. Lots of mirrors in the bathroom. I think you've got your sort of your ladies and your gents mirror over here. One cool little thing that I picked up on that we didn't have in the standard room was the bath truffle, which is essentially a bath bomb. So we'll look forward to using that. As usual, you've got all of your Red Lane spa sort of goodies and bits and bobs. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab the camera off my glamorous assistant and do a more detailed tour of every area of the room. So back to the beginning, I wanted to point out just the size of the room. Obviously you've got this big sort of feeling of, you know, space. And look at that view outside. Just feels really light and airy. So you've obviously got your don't disturb, your housekeeping, your fan, so you can change the speed at which that guy's working. And if you want your aircon adjusted for each room, you have your aircon facility there. Although I said it's for each room, I think there's one remote in each room, because you've got this one here, a television remote, obviously. So this remote goes with that fella there. So a little bit more of a look at what we got here. We have Appleton Estate, Johnny Walker, Absolute Vodka, Tanqueray, Twin Oak Shiraz. And then in here, oh, what goodies have we got? We got Carib Lager, full sugar Coke, some Sprite, Twin Oak Sandals Chardonnay, orange juice, pineapple juice, water, and then more water. Oh, lovely. And once again, the Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee and the sort of coffee doohickey thing that I've forgotten the name of, but really lovely. Nice glasses as well. So I think what we'll do is we'll play around with that. I might have a little bit of the rum. Television, it's all set up and ready to go. Got these big, comfortable, very comfortable chairs, which are quite nice. I sunk into that a little bit more than I thought I would. And then, if we look down here, we have, I'll just angle the camera down for you. We have some savoury snacks there, which is very nice. And in here, what's this lovely surprise? Some La Roche, extra dry. Fantastic. Oh, what's out here? Ooh. It's interesting actually, because I think initially there must have been some type of outdoor showering situation. So we're going to have a look at the bedroom, then in the bathroom, I'll show you what I think was the initial plan for these rooms. So onto the bedroom. One of the best things about the bedroom is this. Open this all the way up. Look at that. So you can wake up in the morning and that is your view. Now, I will mention when we go outside, that's not the warmest water. We are January 23rd and it's 28 degrees every single day and that's still a little bit fresh, but we'll give it a go. Let's have a look at the bathroom. I mean, it's a Sandals bedroom. My wife's just opened a bottle of champagne. That was the popping noise in the background. I'm very sorry. But But what more do you expect? It's a very comfortable bed. It's very large. It's very beautiful. What more do you want? Stunning. So you've got these, very cool. So these must turn on with the different lights. In fact, let's see if we can make these happen. How do we do that? Oh, so that does that. Oh, and that does that. How do we turn these on? What does this do? No. No idea. But we'll make it work. Let's have a quick look in more detail inside here. It's quite a large cupboard. It can fit one man. And going back into the bathroom, the thing I wanted to sort of point out was this. So, this is sort of bolted shut, so I think even if we undo that, we can't go outside, but I think there must have at some point been some type of an outside shower or something. I have to put that back in later. But once again, the scale of this room. You've got a lovely skylight feature up here. It feels very airy. So you've got the skylight, you've got the little window up there, and obviously in the chambers you have another window. So it just feels very airy and very nice. It's a very lovely bathroom, one of the nicer ones that I've seen. So what we're going to do next is a quick look outside, because in my opinion that's what the room's all about. You're in the Caribbean, you shouldn't be inside recording videos and tours, you should be outside enjoying the sun. So in the background down at the pool they're playing Bryan Adams, Summer of '69. Probably can't hear it because of the microphone. If we walk over to the edge, got the main pool, or the party pool that we personally don't go to, down there. And then if you look up in the distance, not the distance, it's about 100 feet away, got the sea. So the beach is just by here, which is beautiful. A gorgeous view. So in terms of what we get outside, we've got a parasol, very important. We have these, angle it down a bit for you, seats here, which is very nice. Twist around there. We've got 2 sun lounges, which are of interest. Ooh. It's very nice. So it's a bit of a heat trap here. There's not much of a breeze, which is quite pleasant. It's quite relaxing. And now I'm going to dip my toe in the pool, or the dipping pool, whatever you'd like to call it. It's not really a pool, but it's not a plunge pool either. Let's have a look. It's fresh, which is probably what you want. When it's super, super hot outside, you just want to freshen yourself up. But yeah, I think that the best part of this is that you can just open your bedroom doors there, and if the mood took you, you could, well, no jumping, but if the mood really took you, you could gently put your feet in the water. Outside we also get this cool outside shower. We have it off, cold or hot. I think I'll be going for hot. And then the nicest part of all, walk around these pillars, is the tub, which is comfortably big enough for 2 adults. And especially if you have a nice glass of champagne each. Beautiful. So yeah, I think we spent the last few days in the Lovers Lagoon, which was just a most beautiful room. But let's be completely honest, this is a step up. I think if the availability was there, we would have liked to have done it for longer. we were only able to do it for 2 days because of that's how the room was available. If we were to come back, I think we'd definitely be doing this room, the MP1, M1P, whichever one it was, for the full week. So, we're here on our last full day, and we've just obviously, well, yesterday we upgraded our room because why the hell not? You know, when in the Caribbean, why not just have a little bit of fun? So we're in our M1P, MP1, whatever it is. It's essentially the room that has your own little private sort of dipping pool and your own private hot tub. But I think there's like, and I might be wrong here, but I think there's sort of 3 levels, or maybe 4 levels, but there's certainly 3 levels of rooms at Sandals Grenada. You've got your sort of standard level, which I think might be called club level, and then you've got your standard level, I don't know what that's called, and then you've got like your club level, which has like your butler, I think, and then I think we here are in like elite butler elite or something like that, and we're not the type of people who would take advantage of the butlers, because I find it quite awkward. I think, you know, these guys, I'm not one of those entitled people who's going to be like, excuse me, do this, do that, you know, paint my toenails, make my bed, any of that nonsense, because it's just not me. I find it quite awkward. But we've been here, we've got 1 full day. Why not at least try and utilize the facilities a little bit? So, that's a nice beer. It's Carib beer, very lovely. This morning we had breakfast in the room. So I rang our butler on our private phone. So I think we got 3 butlers taking care of us. It's been the one woman, Denisha, who's been 10 out of 10, absolutely amazing, really lovely. Rang her up last night and said, this is our order for breakfast, which is the same as we've been having for the past 5 days at La Jardinière, the place that I put in the clip. And we ordered that for our room at 8 o'clock this morning. So we were able to have breakfast on our little, you know, balcony at 8 o'clock in the morning. And that was just the best way to start the day. And we've done the same for lunch. So I've just rung up Denisha again and said, you know, are we able to order lunch to the room? So we've got a load of food coming up to the room at about sort of 1:30 in the afternoon. Now, it's not that going to the restaurants isn't a pleasant experience. It's just we are incredibly antisocial people. We both have careers where, you know, we spend a lot of time facing people, dealing with people. So when we go on holiday, it's very nice for us just to be able to chill out and be incredibly antisocial. So having had a good day, nearly a full day in this lovely room now, and 5 days in our Lovers Lagoon room, how do they compare? I think it's cost us something like £470 to upgrade to this room for 2 nights. And in my opinion, it's been worth it. I think, you know, you do get treated maybe slightly differently. It's a slightly different experience, but that's not the sort of differing criteria. I think the big thing for me is the fact that we are able to be incredibly antisocial people. We're able to lock ourselves up in our room. We've got our pool, we've got our tub, we've got the sun lounges. We don't have to go down and see human beings. Now, we're unusual. Hold my hands up, that's not normal. Normal people will go on holiday and they like to socialize and be present and see human beings, I think. So all things considered, I think if you just want a really nice room, but you're going to spend your day down by the pool, and you're going to be in the pool, or you're going to be at the bars, then I think the Lovers Lagoon rooms are incredible. Can't fault them at all. If you are a recluse, then this might be the room for you. But yeah, I mean, both of them are fantastic. We've had the best time ever, and I really can't, you know, fault or criticize anything. However, if I was going to be a bit of an arsehole, I would say the following. I think that the staff at the resort are incredible. Some of the best staff that I've ever seen in any holiday I've had anywhere. I feel like 90% of the people working here are the nicest human beings on the planet. I think 10% sometimes, and I'm not being rude here at all, just being completely honest, because I think transparency is important. I think 10% of the staff, if I politely ask for something, you know, please can I have this drink? Is it possible to inquire about this? I think sometimes you feel like you're sort of asking too much of them, and maybe they feel a bit disgruntled with you. But that might just be me being really awkward and quite British, and it might be on me. The only other criticism I've got is, I think sometimes when you go to breakfast, you might get asked for coffee by like 4 of the staff in a row. You know, one will say, do you want coffee? And the other one will say, do you want coffee? Do you want coffee? And we're like, yeah, we put our order in. But I mean, am I going to criticize the staff for being overly friendly and overly helpful? No. Last thing, maybe a couple of times that we have ordered drinks and it's not happened and it's disappeared. But once again, I think that's because the guys working here are 3,000 miles an hour. They're rushing around, they're dealing with everyone. I think they're trying too hard, and that's not a criticism. I just think they're trying too hard to appease too many people at once. And I think sometimes things get forgotten and things get messed up, but we're human beings. And if you're going to sit here and criticize people for trying too hard, well, that says more about you than them, doesn't it? But yeah, just to wrap up the experience, I want to come back. It's been amazing. I mean, look at it outside. I mean, I should be out there. In fact, I'm going to go out there and enjoy it. So thank you for watching. As usual, comments, any questions, anything you want to ask, get involved with, any experiences you've had at Sandals that are worth putting in the comments for other people to pick up on, let me know. I haven't covered everything. It's not my job to be comprehensive. I just want to be honest and give you, you know, a view through my eyes, at least. So thank you for watching. Click subscribe.